game of this big series with the Cleveland Indians, and the Twins hope to get a split in the 4-game series after being swept in a doubleheader on Monday. The Twins needed a win on Tuesday, and boy, did they get a dramatic one. Danny Valencia's hit down the left field line scored Joe Mauer and Michael Kadire, and the Twins, who were shut down through 8 innings, got 2 in the ninth to frustrate the Indians, specifically their closer, Chris Perez. And it's a muggy afternoon here at Target Field. Dick Bramer joined today by Roy Smalley, sitting in for Bert Blyleven, who's prepping for his big weekend in Cooperstown. You know, there have been 2 fixtures in the Twins lineup this year. Danny Valencia at third base. He got the game-winning hit. And the other guy's been a fixture in the lineup. We just don't know what position he's going to play from game to game, and that's Michael Kadire.
Michael Kadire has literally been Mr. Everything for the Minnesota Twins. And last night, he was a little bit of all of that everything, too. Watch this play. A great short hop and then a cannon for an arm throw to second to hold a sure double to a single. Then he gets a double, and it's only a double because of his hustle in the fateful bottom of the ninth. Set up a base hit by Danny Valencia. This might have been the best thing he did. What a great read on this ball. No way should a guy score with less than 2 out that easily in the bottom of the ninth. But Michael Kadire did it, won the game for the Twins.
A much-needed win for the Twins, and now today they'll try to back it up with another one in advance of another big series with the Tigers coming up. Fox Sports North is brought to you by your local Northland Ford dealers. Visit your local Northland Ford dealer or go to northlandford.com. And by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards.
The Twins and the Indians wrap up their 4-game series this afternoon at steamy Target Field. Hi again, everyone. I'm Marnie Gellner. Joe Mauer is the Twins' first baseman today, and he has been great in that position, but the Twins will be very happy when their regular first baseman, Justin Morneau, is back into the regular lineup. Morneau had surgery on his neck 3 weeks ago. Slowly but surely, he is improving. He's getting better. He even took some ground balls on Monday. This morning, I caught up with Justin and got an official update on his return to baseball.
It's been, I guess, 3 weeks today since I had surgery, so, you know, it's just sort of test it as it goes. If something doesn't feel good, then just stop as we're doing it. But, you know, it's been feeling better pretty much every day. And, you know, started working out a week ago today. And, you know, those have been going pretty well. And, you know, now it's more just trying to get in those movements. You know, ground balls and all that stuff, a little less controlled, a little less predictable as to where the ball's going to go. So, it's a little quicker movement.
Justin also said he hopes to take swings in a week, but he has no timetable set for that. Well, Nick Blackburn will give the Twins a series split today against Cleveland.
I think it's time to count out the Twins. They claw their way back into contention. Last night it was more home heroics for Danny Valencia after a Cleveland collapse in the ninth. Can the Twins continue their climb up the standings today? Find out next in the series finale with the Indians. And Danny Valencia and the Twins taking the field, and Valencia quickly gaining the reputation of being a pretty clutch hitter, at least at home. He's gotten some awfully dramatic hits, including the one last night.
He's had some walk-offs here at home, and he's also hit very well in the clutch all season long. Average not where he'd like it to be, but he has gotten huge hits all season long.
Well, Manny Acta has his Indians tied for first place with the Tigers. Here's his Menard's batting order for the series finale. Indians head home after the game today. Ezequiel Carrera leading off as Drupal Cabrera hitting second. Travis Hafner back in the lineup. Carlos Santana hitting cleanup. Matt Laporta, Orlando Cabrera, Lonnie Chisenhall, Austin Kearns, and infielder Luis Valbuena asked to make the start in left field for the series finale.
And here's a scouting report on Nick Blackburn. First and foremost, he's a sinker ball pitcher. Keep the ball down. He's got to pitch down in the strike zone, and he's got to be able to come inside on both left and right-handed hitters to open up the outside part of the plate.
Carrera leading things off, and Blackburn hits the outside corner. The Indians imagined at the end of July to have Shin-Soo Choo in right, Grady Sizemore in center, Michael Brantley in left, and all three of them are gone. Two of them on the disabled list, and Michael Brantley, who ordinarily is hit in this leadoff spot, is still ill today. So Carrera hitting leadoff. 1-1.
And that hurts the Indians a lot, Dick, with Brantley not in the lineup. Good young player, left-hand hitter, has really been hot, especially lately. Good player. They'll miss him.
2-2 to Carrera. And the news a little encouraging regarding Sizemore. He has a bruised knee, a bone bruise. They were fearful that he would need this microfracture surgery that he had on the other knee last year, but it looks like the news a little bit more encouraging for Sizemore and the Indians. Full count to the leadoff man here in the first inning. And that's poked to left, a base hit. So Carrera gets a leadoff single here in the first inning.
And that's where left-handers really give Nick Blackburn, little ping hitting left-handers give Nick Blackburn a hard time. They are willing to slap that ball to left field to get a base hit.
Delman Young in left field for the Twins today. Ben Revere, Michael Kanai, the other outfielders in the Northland Ford defense. Valencia, Nishioka, Casilla, and Mauer, and Drew Butera behind the plate. In essence, the Twins coming back with the same lineup today that they went with last night. Except on the mound, of course, they had Liriano going. Throw to first in a close play. Carrera nearly got picked off.
That base hit by Carrera to start the game is the reason why I said that Nick Blackburn has got to be able to pitch inside a bit, both the left-handers and right-handers. You have to keep them from leaning out over the plate and hitting your best pitch, which is that sinker.
Cabrera putting together a tremendous year for the Indians. Didn't mean to, and a little dribbler up the line that'll go foul. 1 strike.
If you watch this, it's 3-2. He hasn't really seen one inside yet. He knows that Blackburn has a sinker, and he's able to just slap that ball. That was a nice pitch, just exactly where Nick wants to be able to pitch today. But in order to keep that part of the plate belonging to him, he has got to come in hard every once in a while, both on left-handers and right-handers, to open up that outside part of the plate for him.
1 strike to Cabrera. Asdrubal Cabrera. There goes Carrera. Butera's throw on the bag, a perfect throw. Second throw out in this series for Drew Butera.
Terrific play by Drew Butera. He's got a very strong and even more so accurate arm. He throws that ball right on the bag so often. Watch him come flying out of here as he sees the guy in motion, throws it right on the bag. Good job on Nishioka keeping his glove down there and picking the ball first, and then just leaving it down there. And the runner slides right into the glove, just like we did in the instructional the other night about tagging.
So last night, Carrera got an opening walk from Liriano and was thrown out trying to steal by Butera. Here he gets a leadoff single, but Butera throws him out. 1-2 now to Asdrubal Cabrera.
It's actually nice to see Cabrera becoming the player that everybody thought he could be. A couple years ago, I thought he was going to be sensational.
Weak ground ball to second. Easy play for Casilla. 2 down.
Then he went through a little time for a year or two when he wasn't quite living up to what it looked like his potential was going to be. Now it looks like he's really found himself as a player.
Broke his arm last year and has really emerged as, in the minds of Benny, best shortstop in the league right now. Defensively, he reminds so many people of Omar Vizquel, and boy, everybody on the planet pales in comparison to Vizquel, but they compare Cabrera favorably.
When you can swing the bat like he is and even be in the same sentence with Omar Vizquel, you're doing a good job.
One hopper to Casilla. A leadoff single, but Blackburn faces just 3 men in the inning and throws just 10 pitches. doing the managerial duties in the dugout. Ron Gardenhire up in his office or the clubhouse. Here's the Menards batting order for the Twins. Ben Revere and Alexi Casilla both hope to clog the bases in the final game of this series. And Joe Mauer, Michael Kadire, Jim Thome, Danny Valencia, Delman Young, Nishioka, and Butera rounded out.
And the scouting report on Josh Tomlin, he's got all 4 of them: fastball, curveball, changeup, and what Joe Valver calls a slutter, kind of a slider cutter. And his best pitch is that slider, or the in Valver speak, the slutter.
And Revere starts the series finale with his first hit. He and Casilla have really been stymied in this series. Into this game, the two igniters, if you will, for the Twins lineup, 1 for 25, and so Revere spanks a single quickly in his first at bat.
Good to see for a couple of reasons. First of all, just as you say, Dick, these guys have got to be on base in front of Mauer and Kadire and Valencia and Thome, but also for that young man. He's been through a tough streak, and getting a hit his first time up, he might get 3 or 4 of them now. It's amazing how much psychology enters into this game. That's a big hit for him.
You sound like you've been there before.
I've been there once or twice.
Here's Casilla. Revere very quick, of course, at first, and Casilla takes a stride. Tomlin, the Cleveland pitcher today, one of the top strike throwers in the American League, and so we expect the Twins, aware of that, to maybe attack him early, because there's no point in waiting around. He doesn't walk many people and rarely falls behind them.
Well, that's one reason for his good record, at 11-4. I mean, don't walk anybody, make everybody hit the ball, swing the bat to get on. It's not that easy to hit in the big leagues, and when you can throw strikes with at least 3 pitches up at this level, you can have a lot of fielders standing in front of the ball when they hit it. Throw it over there.
1-1. Tomlin's given up a lot of home runs, 18 of them. Only one other pitcher in the league has allowed more, Colby Lewis of Texas with 21.
When you're around the plate a lot, like he and pitchers like that, you're going to give up home runs. Guys are ready to swing, and you're throwing strikes. You hear about people saying a guy's effectively wild, and that means that hitters never kind of get the same eye angle, and even though they're behind or throwing a lot of pitches, it's oftentimes a lot harder to hit those guys, even if you get in good hitters counts, than it is a guy that's around the plate all the time, because you just get used to seeing the ball in the zone where you need to hit it.
Another check of Revere at first. 2-1 to Casilla.
I hated guys as a hitter. I hated pitchers that had 2 different kind of fastballs. We saw that last night with Masterson. Just nasty, hard 96, 97 straight fastball, and then a nasty 93-mile-an-hour sinker. And Tomlin throws a straight fastball in that cutter, and that's tough. That's really tough on hitters, because when you get in a fastball count, you're not really sure which one you're going to get, and you have to go at them a little bit differently.
Well, just one note about Masterson last night, how great he was. 104 pitches, 103 fastballs. He threw 1 breaking pitch the whole game. That's how effective his fastball was. The 2 fastballs that he used.
Right, the 2 of them. And that's not 1 pitch. Those are 2 distinct pitches from a hitter's standpoint. Because the 96-mile-an-hour straight fastball that rides at you, it gets your attention. And when the sinker comes out of his hand at 93, it looks like it's going to be the rider until it gets right up to the plate and then dips below your bat. That's why we saw so many weak ground balls back to Masterson, the pitcher, and around the infield. The ball just sinks below the bat.
Little pop-up coming back and out of play again. 2-2 to Casilla.
Be good to see Alexi get going here too, for the same reasons that we talked about Ben Revere. Both setting the table for the middle of the Twins order, but also to get his mental state back in a real positive, good feeling. Alexi's fun to watch, isn't he? When, of course, Revere is too, as he just gets back on the throw. But these 2 guys are aggressive on the bases, and it's fun to, as Tom Kelly and Ron Gardenhire like to say, it's fun to see them running around out there.
2-2 to Casilla. Revere with a good lead at first. You know, given the weather we've had, I hate to use any heat-related cliches, but this is the final game of this series. The Twins are going to go from the frying pan into the fire with the Tigers coming in. The Indians and Detroit tied for the lead right now in the division, and so you'd like to have Revere and Casilla approaching the next series with a little bit of confidence.
You bet, because they really are not going to have enough offense unless these guys are getting on base.
2-2 to Casilla, and up high with Santana coming out of the crouch. That looked like a pretty good pitch, and you wonder whether the catcher didn't cost the pitcher the pitch.
You know, a lot of times you watch the catcher start coming out of it. That's what the catchers are taught to do. Is the umpire had a good look at that. I think the umpire was fooled. I didn't think Santana was in his way. Sometimes that can influence a guy's decision. But
Revere goes, hit into the corner. Revere round second, on his way to third. Kearns from the deep corner retrieves it and fires to second. Casilla's double scores Revere, and it's 1-0.
I don't understand that throw to second base. You may not get Revere, but you are not going to get Casilla. That's a double all the way. And I believe you got to set up to get the lead runner. Good swing by Lexi. Ball in the middle of the plate. He gets on top of it and drives it into right field down the line. That's a nice swing. But when this ball, as we watch Revere running around third, almost slipped in your spot there again, Dick, at shortstop. But you got to set up as a right fielder. The relay man was out there. I think you got to set up to the plate and let the relay man decide whether or not you throw to home or third if Alexi elected to go toward third.
Well, Casilla had a close pitch, called the ball right before that, and then Tomlin left one up. It got driven hard into the corner, and now Maurer with a 1-0 count. And at the belt, 1-1.
And how many times do we see that? We talk all the time about you can't give a team extra outs or extra bases on defense. We see it an awful lot. An umpire give you just an extra pitch, and it's tough up here at this level. It's tough to pitch and it's tough to hit. And when you get either one in your favor, you got a lot better odds, obviously.
2-1. We saw it in the playoffs last year. Pavano and the infamous Lance Berkman at bat. Pavano cut the plate in half right down the middle. Should have been strike three. Pavano tried to come back with a better pitch, but Berkman hit the double, and that was one of the biggest hits in that playoff series last year.
And that's one of those little things about baseball, that the more you know about the game, the better game it is. You just can't give away outs and pitches.
Bounce to the right side, and that'll bleed through. Casilla around third. He's heading home. Kearns throw to the plate, not in time, and it's a quick 2-0 start for the Twins.
Really good at bat by Joe. With nobody out and a runner on second base, the ball has got to be moved toward right field. If you make an out, make it a productive out, get the guy over to third base this early in the game, get one run here, and Joe not only gets him over but gets him in. But that's a good at bat. Get a ball that you can hit to the right side, and if you get it through the hole, if you hit it hard enough to get a base hit, that's a bonus. But get it over there. That's real good hitting. We talk about Twins baseball. That's it. Do it all the time.
Here's Kadire. He takes outside, ball one. 5 hits in the series, a home run, a big double right in front of Valencia's game-winning hit last night. There's a strike, 1-1. When you talked about Kadire's good defensive play early in the ball game, playing the ball off the limestone facing in the overhang in right field. What we've seen throughout this homestand is more and more of Joe Mauer at first base, which allows the Twins to strengthen their outfield defense by having Kadire out in right.
We talk about the ability for Tomey to be in as the DH with when Joe can play first base, but you're right, Dick. That really helps the outfield defense as well as the offense.
Case in point today, Ron Gardenhire asked Joe Mauer, whether he felt good enough to play, and Joe said yes, and then Ron Gardenhire gave him the choice. You want to catch, you want to play first base, and Joe said, I'll take first base. Quite a departure from where we were a couple of weeks ago on that issue. And there's Kadire taking a called third strike. One down. Let's check out the Northland Ford defense for the Indians. And Valbuena in left, the converted infielder, at least in the short term. Carrera and Kearns join him in the outfield. Chisenhall, Cabrera, Laporta, and Santana wrapped around Josh Tomlin. Well, here's Jim Thome. Taken low, ball one.
Watch this pitch to Michael Kadire. This is the cutter. This is a classic example of what a cutter looks like. A fastball. It's a little bit slower, and it's just moving enough right to left there to fool a hitter just a little bit.
Thome taps it to first. Laporta fires to second. Relay to first, a double play with Laporta getting out of the way. 3 hits start the inning. Twins get a couple of runs to take the first lead. Well, Nick Blackburn faced just 3 men in the first inning. Now he's got a 2-0 lead. He'll face the middle of the Cleveland lineup. Oppressive heat and humidity, but when I check with you, you've given me the same answer. Every player I have talked to through this heat wave, Twins, Cleveland, Kansas City, they've all said the same thing. They love playing in this stuff. I don't understand it.
Well, you know, you're not out there on the sun hot that long. Your body feels great.
Bouncer to first. Mauer gets a head high hop. 1 down. It was hot when this homestand started on Thursday, and it's gotten worse every day. The heat index keeps climbing, and they say today the heat index is going to be in the neighborhood of 119.
Yeah, it's going to be oppressively hot. There's no question about it. I feel for the pitcher and the catcher and the umpire behind the plate most. But I just have to tell you, as opposed to being cold, you've got, early in the season, it's uncomfortably cold and your body doesn't feel good. And in this, it's uncomfortably hot, but at least your body feels good. And that helps you mentally. I think that's the main thing. I just thought this was big league baseball when I played in this kind of stuff.
Laporta takes a strike. Hey, you can feel sorry for the players all you want. I feel sorry for the vendors. Yeah. You can try carrying a case of beer around up and down the stairs, or Frosty malts. Or maybe the Frosty malts wouldn't be so bad. You could open up the lid and get some relief.
I'll tell you what, if I was carrying that beer case around, it wouldn't be too heavy for too long either. I know periodically there'd be one less.
2-1 to Laporta. Check swing and a strike. 2-2. Roy Smalley sitting in for Bert Blyleven. He's on his way to Cooperstown. We'll get a couple of extra days of prep work done for his speech on Sunday. Full count, second full count for Blackburn. He ended up giving up a base hit to Carrera, leading off the first. And Orlando Cabrera on deck. And Laporta strikes out, 2 away. Sundays on Fox Sports North, join Tom Brokaw for Boys in the Hall. Personal stories of some of baseball's greatest legends. And this week, Brooks Robinson. Boys in the Hall Sundays presented by Subway Restaurants, where winners eat. Now, you played against Brooks toward the end of his career, and I've often made the comparison.
Well, thank you.
Well, no.
I didn't know where.
The two greatest gentlemen I've ever met in the game were Harmon Killebrew and Brooks Robinson, both Hall of Famers. Brooks is a terrific gentleman. You're right. Bouncer up the middle. Casilla backhands it over to Mauer, and a 1-2-3 second inning, and again Blackburn gets through the inning on just 10 pitches.
To nothing lead, and yes, it's hot. It's 93 degrees outside. It feels like it's 99, and it's only on the way up. Twins players can duck in and out of the clubhouse to get some AC if they need to cool off, but for the umpires, that's kind of a different story. I have with me an ice vest. Look at, here's the outside, here's the inside. Nothing but ice blocks. It's completely frozen. This is what the umpires have been using after the game in order to cool off. This thing also has a helmet with it. That's ice inside. During the games, there's a little piece that's like a cutout on here that the home plate umpires have been wearing on their chest. And Timmy Burke is the umpire's assistant here with the Twins. He's been taking that pack, freezing it, and then replacing it about every 3 innings for the home plate umpire, whoever that is, during the series. He's wearing it under his chest protector. I'll actually throw this thing on really smoothly, but it kind of goes like that. There you go. And now I am in complete comfort to watch the rest of this game. I got to go get the helmet for me. But that's how they are keeping cool after the games. This is the post-game cool down for the umpires.
I wish I had the patent for that. That sounds to me like a wonderful idea.
That is a great idea.
Delman Young, the hitter. Ground ball hit right to the second baseman. Earlier, Valencia bounced out to the shortstop. Now Young retired, 2 down. Well, makes sense. I mean, you've been in the wintertime in Minnesota. You've kind of made Minnesota your home. And in the wintertime, we put on wool or down vest. So this ice vest seems like the perfect answer in the summer.
I want that vest with heat coils in it for the wintertime. Light that thing up. Speaking of the heat, though, Dick, so far, perfect script for the Twins. Get a lead early for Nick Blackburn. Nick Blackburn get the guys off the field quickly. He's only thrown 21 pitches in 2 innings. And the Twins have got him a 2-0 lead. This is the way you'd want to start a 100-degree day.
Into center field with Nishioka dropping it just out of the reach of Asdrubal Cabrera, a 2-out single.
The ball on the outside part of the plate, just a little fastball there that Nishi is able to get it off the end of the bat, but just enough. You need those kind of hits during the course of the season, Dick. Those are so important. Just when you don't have your A swing, get a hit or two once in a while.
Here's Drew Butera, and we talked about Mauer's willingness, eagerness, if you will, to play first base, how that helps the Twins outfield defense, sending Kadire back out to right field. It does, however, mean that Drew Butera in this heat and humidity is asked to catch a day game after a night game.
He's 16 years old. He ought to be able to do that.
Such is the life of a backup catcher, right? Twins baseball brought to you in Sony High Definition. 1-1. Nishioka checked at first. We haven't seen Nishioka do much base stealing. Just a couple of steals in 5 tries.
That's another part of his game that he's going to have to get acclimated to up here in the big leagues before he gets comfortable.
Near the Twins dugout to Santana with a play right by the steps, and that ends the inning. The Twins get their 4th hit of the ball game. They lead 2-0. By Explore Minnesota. Visit exploreminnesota.com to plan your next Minnesota vacation today. And that's the Root River Trail near Lanesboro in the historic Bluff Country area of southeast Minnesota. A 60-mile paved Root River Trail. It winds 60 miles through Bluff Country, running along towering limestone bluffs, dense forests, and peaceful small towns. Lanesboro down there down the road south and west of Wayland, south and west of Peterson, south and west of Rushford, and a little bit north of Henrytown.
You've been down there, Bill?
I have been down in that area. Yeah. It's gorgeous, a little bit south and east of Rochester. Twins have a 2-0 lead, bottom third of the lineup for the Indians. That means Lonnie Chisenhall will lead things off, then Austin Kearns and Luis Valbuena. 1 strike. Chisenhall taking over most of the third base duty for Jack Hanahan, who a big part of Cleveland's success in the first 2 months of the year. And Hanahan a superior defensive third baseman to Chisenhall, but Chisenhall, they say, is going to be the third baseman of the future. Pounded foul, 1-2.
We saw Nick Blackburn starting with a slider there. That'll be another important strategy, I think, for Nick Blackburn and Drew Butera. pitch a little backwards every once in a while. Throw a breaking ball at first pitch. That's a pitch right there that I'm talking about. Show them that fastball inside, especially the left-handers. Get inside, and if you miss inside, not back over the plate. Down and in, that's a great pitch. That makes a hitter think he might come back in there. Perfect.
A breaking pitch, a swinging strikeout to start the third inning. You can ask a question at carsoup.com/baseball. Jim Swartout from Provo, Utah. And a question for you, Roy Smalley. How difficult is it for a player like Trevor Plouffe to become a utility player mid-season?
I think the key there is is Trevor's age. You know, it happens to all of us for the most part, except for the real amazing guys like Omar Vizquel and Cal Ripken, guys that play one position for a long time. But when you're a young guy and you've always considered yourself a shortstop, and then all of a sudden in the big leagues you're asked to do something else, that's a little bit. It's more of a mental issue than a physical issue. He's certainly a great athlete, and he would be able to play the outfield. But it's difficult to do it in the major leagues on the fly.
I've heard it said, although not for the last 15 years, I've heard it said that shortstops are the best athletes on the team.
Have you heard that here?
Like I said, not for the last 15 years, but
well, it used to be true. And I guess maybe in this geography right here where we're sitting.
3-1. And Kearns bounces it to Valencia. Long throw. Accurate throw, and Mauer with a stretch at the other end. 2 down. And Valbuena will hit next. You can stop by the Twins Pro Shop in Minnetonka tomorrow from noon to 1 and get a chance to see Ben Revere, the Twins' outstanding rookie, courtesy of Majestic Athletic. Twins Pro Shops are great places to gear up with the latest Twins apparel. They're located in Apple Valley, Roseville, and Minnetonka. And remember to stop by and see Ben Revere, Minnetonka, tomorrow at noon. Here's Valbuena pressed into service in the outfield. Talk about Plouffe moving from the infield to the outfield. Here's Valbuena, who had to run out to left field for just the second time as a big leaguer last night. And he was involved in a lot of activity in the bottom of the 9th inning.
He sure was. Michael Goodire saying that he knew there was a second baseman playing left field. That's why he was able to get such a great jump on Danny Valencia's ball, which when left the bat looked questionable whether it might be able to be caught by the left fielder. So much preparation goes into playing this game of baseball. When you're on second base, you have to know where your outfielders are playing, what kind of arms they have. You have to have seen balls come off the bat. That's something that we practice in batting practice. You don't just stand around the cage and hit your turn and then watch everybody else. You go out to second base, you read balls off the bat, and make up your mind. Now, would I go or would I stay on that?
Swing and a miss, and Blackburn took him a few more pitches here in the third inning than the 10 he used in the first and second inning. But on 35 pitches, he's pitched 3 shutout innings. Will be the Arby's value player of the game. Text the word value followed by a space in the player's name to short code 234-234. Ben Revere with 2 quick strikes. Lined a single to left leading off the first. Scored on Casillas' double. Casillas scored on Mauer's single. And the Twins got off to a nice quick start here. Just outside, 1-2. Tomlin leading the staff with 11 wins. And in doing that, he's obviously gotten some run support that Justin Masterson hasn't been getting.
If they could maybe split that, the support that Tomlin's got, give some of that to Masterson. Masterson will be a happy guy.
It's to left center field, and retreating is Carrera. Ball with the wind blowing out towards left. Maybe from the right field pole to the left field pole. It carried out toward the gap, 1 away. Twins hope to hang another flag by the end of this season. This is the American League leaders in run support.
And I think if you looked at the American League leaders in lack thereof, Masterson might be on that list too. Boy, did he pitch a good ball game last night.
But this Cleveland team is Casillas lines another one sharply into right field. Got that one past Laporta's glove, so Casillas pulled the ball sharply twice for a pair of base hits.
2 really good swings, very similar swings by Alexis Casillas. Watch how level he is, his back shoulder is, and how quickly the big end gets through the zone. Lexi has a little bit of a problem. See that big end comes through the zone for a long time. He has a little bit of a problem dipping his back shoulder a little bit, getting a little bit longer. Those 2 swings, that one and the one that he hit the double in the first inning, very, very similar swings, very level. Bat stayed in the zone a long time. Big end of the bat.
Mauer takes a strike. Mauer grounded a single to right. Casillas scored from second. And that made the score 2-0. Closer to the 300 mark. Drew a big walk in the ball game yesterday that started the rally. You tend to think of Kadayer's double and Valencia's game-winning hit, but boy, without that Mauer walk, none of it maybe would have happened.
I was watching the game at home last night, Dick, and when he went 3-0, I thought I just figured Joe was going to walk. There was no way in my mind that Chris Perez was going to be able to come back and throw 3 strikes to a hitter of this caliber. He didn't want to throw the ball anywhere close, and he just wasn't going to be able to come back from 3-0. But Joe was taking 3-0 and then 3-1. I just didn't think Perez would throw a strike.
1-1 to Mauer here from Tomlin. Out in front, 1-2.
I like seeing that swing from Joe every once in a while. I'll go ahead before he's one of the best 2-strike hitters I've ever seen. He has no anxiety about hitting with 2 strikes. So every once in a while before you get there, let it go a little bit. And so you see that curveball come flopping up there, and he's a little bit out in front of it. But if you catch up to that, it's in the seats. Go ahead and take a shot every once in a while.
Inside. That Yost was talking about with Billy Butler in the Kansas City series. They think Butler's a really good 2-strike hitter, and he is so big and strong. You get into a favorable count, go ahead and swing for the fences.
Right. What do you care for 2 strikes? I mean, just pick out a pitch and really drive it. Joe's more comfortable at staying with his normal plan, and that's fine. Up the middle.
Liner to second, and a double play. So Casillas got trapped off first. Mauer hit the ball hard. Tomlin faces just 3 down the inning. Indians, who have 30-game hitting streaks with the Tribe.
Joe Carter.
Yeah. You're dealing with a charter member of the American League, so it could be Tris Speaker, I guess. Or are we talking about current members of the Indians? Clarification on our trivia question. And we're getting that.
Yeah, we're getting no clarification.
Okay.
You know, there's a couple of essential things when you're hitting. One would be a bat.
Yeah.
You know, I can see forgetting your helmet if you had a hat on.
Right.
You know, I have a hard time walking up there without anything on my head.
Every once in a while, and you were a switch hitter, every once in a while you'll see a switch hitter who goes up with the wrong helmet. Right? With the flap over the wrong side, the wrong ear.
I don't ever remember doing that. I was pretty conscious of which side was going to be facing the pitcher, I thought.
1 and 2 to Carrera.
I suppose they could do that.
Well, Travis Buck is quite happy he had a helmet on in the ball game last night. He's not feeling too good today, as you might imagine. He got smoked in the helmet by Francisco Liriano and is unavailable for play today. 2 and 2. Bounce foul. You ever get hit in the head by a pitch?
One time in the minor leagues, I was playing in Double-A, and guy throwing real hard, had kind of a natural cutter, a big right-hander, and the ball just kept boring in on my head. I couldn't get out of the way.
Chopper left side. Valencia cuts in front of the shortstop. He's got no chance to get the speedy Carrera. Nishioka, I don't think, would have had a chance. At any rate, it's the second hit for Carrera. He's gotten both Cleveland hits. Arby's and Fox Sports North giving you a chance to win a trip for 2 to Fort Myers, Florida. Pick up an Arby's It's Good Mood Food code card every Friday at any participating Arby's. Then log on to foxsportsnorth.com, click on the Fan Zone tab, enter the code for the chance to win. You got to be 18 or older. Visit foxsportsnorth.com for details.
That last play, the ball in between Valencia and Nishioka, there needs to be communication. The shortstop needs to sing out pretty loud if he thinks he has a play at that ball. That doesn't mean that the third baseman's not going to continue to get it. It should be the third baseman's job to cut off everything he can. But you know, as a third baseman, if you're going to be in a funny position to throw, and which Danny was there, if the shortstop's got any chance coming in on that ball, you got to let him know that you're going to make a shot at it.
A little easier throw for the shortstop charging the ball than it is for the third baseman running toward second.
Exactly right. They were both going to be off balance when they threw. Whoever attempted that play, it's an easier off balance throw for the shortstop coming in on it than it is for the third baseman going as hard towards second as he was.
1-1 to Asdrubal Cabrera. Hit a bouncer to Casilla his first time up. A voice you're listening to, not right now, but when I'm not talking, is Roy Smalley, who's sitting in for Burt Blyleven this weekend.
And it's an honor to do so. I'm excited for Burt, as we all are. But I imagine the butterflies are starting, and it's going to be just great fun for him.
1-2. And you'll be working the opener with a Detroit Tigers series tomorrow. Justin Verlander going against Carl Pavano. And then Anthony LaPanta will be filling in for me.
Well, we'll try and hold down the fort for you and Burt as best we can.
I'm sure you'll do fine. There's a liner into center field, a base hit. Carrera to second, and he'll hold up there. So now a promising start for the Indians as they get their second and third hits of the game, starting the fourth inning.
Not a bad pitch by Blackburn, and actually got the ball on the end of the bat here. It's just a little bit higher than what actually got in on it, just a little bit. The ball wasn't hitting real hard. But you know, it's funny, a sinker ball pitcher has got it. Sometimes what looks down and what looks down and in is not as much so for the sinker ball pitcher, because it's not coming up there as hard, and the ball doesn't sink up there at that level. Sinker ball pitchers almost have to pitch knee high. Their best pitch actually ends up below the strike zone.
We saw that a lot of times last night from Masterson.
Right.
Here's Hafner. And there's a pitch low, ball one. In my questioning of players, about the oppressive heat. I thought I'd find a kindred spirit in Travis Hafner. He's more of an upper Midwest guy than I am. He grew up farther north than I did, up in North Dakota. And even he said, no, he loves playing in this weather. He'd much rather have this than 35, 40 degrees. Down and in, 2-0.
It's a big inning for Nick Blackburn. We've been sailing along here through 3 innings, and now that you got the meat of the order and the Indians up, if he gets out of this relatively unscathed, the Twins have a chance to come back and kind of break the game open, break Indian spirit a little bit. If they get back in the game, we're going to have a tussle. I'll hold for 9 innings.
And now 3-0 to Hafner with Santana on deck. Well, a nearly perfect first trip through the batting order for Blackburn, but now second time through, a couple of hits. And Blackburn with a ticklish situation here with Hafner in a 3-0 count.
And what's really, really hard for a pitcher is to realize he's in trouble, but he didn't really get there by pitching badly. Carrera's hit was a nubber, and Cabrera's hit was in on him. Wow.
So now they're loaded up for Santana. As Blackburn, well, I won't put words in his mouth. I thought he had the outside corner here.
Well,
low.
I think he must have called it for low. Interesting call, 3-0. You usually get that pitch, but
50 pitches, 20 of them in the first 2 innings. So he's had to work here in the 3rd and now in the 4th. And they're loaded up for Santana, and the Twins are hoping to get another ground ball here off the bat of a Cleveland cleanup hitter. Tying run in scoring position.
Yeah, they'd love to have a strikeout first and then get the ground ball. Blackie not really a strikeout type pitcher.
Breaking ball, and that's a called strike.
I like starting him with a breaking ball there. Just put uncertainty in the hitter's mind that he might get anything at any time.
Hit foul, 2 strikes. Blackburn averaging about 1 strikeout every other inning. And he's gotten 3 strikeouts. In fact, 2 of them in the 3rd inning. Trying to bear down here and get the cleanup hitter. Santana on the season, 317 at bats and 75 strikeouts. Just off the plate. One and 2.
Interesting batting stance from Santana. That toe sticking or his heel sticking up in the air. Guys will do that to remind themselves often that they want to land more on the ball of their feet than stomping out there and landing on their heel, which tends to get them to spin a little bit. You want to be a little softer with your stride. All the stride really should do for a hitter is set himself, his lower body, in good strong position so his hands can work. And I think he's trying to remind himself to land on his toe there. Man.
2 and 2. Blackburn threw a changeup. Santana took it low, I guess.
Yeah, he took that. Yeah, that was a strike. That was a great pitch. He took that pitch because he couldn't hit it. And he happened to luck out and get the call.
Got
to call that one. Yep.
Well, what was interesting there was Butera set up inside, and the home plate umpire went with him and really got down on a knee to look at that called 3rd strike.
I think if you throw the ball right in front of the umpire, right there, you're going to get that call. The ball comes back, looks like it's a little bit inside, but he had not given him the pitch on the outside corner. I actually think half the time umpires that set up over the catcher's shoulder on the inside part, it's a total guess on the outside corner anyway. I don't think they can really have a good look at it. Thought he missed a couple pitches out there, and we gave him one there. I think that evened out.
So let's see, you had the owner's manual on how to get out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam, and you said a strikeout first.
A strikeout first.
Then
right.
the ground ball.
Then the ground ball.
All right.
Absolutely. Now, 2 hopper to short would be just fine.
Nubbed off the end of the bat, 1-1.
Blackburn pitched Santana really, really well through every pitch he had. He got away with one, the 0-1 pitch right down the middle, no sink. Santana nailed it down the right field line, foul. But other than that, he worked both sides of the plate. He threw him a slider, he threw him a changeup. Most everything was away, and then he got him inside. It was a really nice job of pitching.
Fouled away, and now 2 strikes and a ball to Laporta. Laporta went down swinging in the first inning, or in the second inning, I should say.
There's so much that goes into every pitch in a baseball game, and it really changes the approach of both the pitcher and the hitter after every pitch, depending on whether it's a ball or strike, depending on whether it's in or out.
And Blackburn tried to get the inside corner to the right-handed batter, but missed.
Yeah, I love that pitch right there. That makes a hitter, you have to pay attention to that pitch. You mean he's really going to come in there at 90-91? He's got to be thinking, he's got to be prepared for that. That should open up the outside part of the plate just a little bit. Right out there.
And a breaking pitch misses, and now it's a full count. The bases are full.
When you have a hitter set up, like I think he had Laporta set up for something on the outside part of the plate there, 2-2, you really, really got to throw it for a strike. Because he had him. He has him right there if he can clip the corner.
Full count to Laporta. High fly center field. Revere retreating, and the wind pushing it back all the way and off of Revere's glove. 1 run will score, and a second run coming home. Nishioka's throw cut off. That ball kept drifting back on Revere, and it bounced out of his glove for a 2-base error.
Well, Revere went a long way for the ball. It looked like, I think Jerry White will be talking to the young man just a little bit. You have to know which way the wind's blowing, and you got to get back there. He was kind of gliding after it a little bit. The wind kept taking it, He did get to the ball.
I think he looked up into the sun, maybe, too.
The sun might have given him a little, yep, the sun gave him some problem there a little bit, I think. Otherwise, he just really took his eye off the ball.
Well, the sun should have been coming over his left shoulder. So a sacrifice fly is given Laporta. And now the game is tied. Here's Cabrera, and Blackburn's got to start all over again. Fouled away, 1 strike. 3-2 pitch to Laporta and lifted to center field, and the Indians get at least 1 extra out here in the 4th.
Most of the time you want your outfielders to get back beyond the ball as quickly as you can, especially when the wind's blowing.
Jam shot, a dribbler foul, 2 strikes.
It's easy to sit up here and second guess. It was he could have been fighting the sun the whole way. He had to go a long way for the ball, but it really looked like something happened right as the ball was coming into his glove, either in the sun or the wind took it a little bit further than he thought or something.
2 strikes. Blackburn trying to get another strikeout, maybe a pop-up comebacker. Well, he's really had to work here in the 4th inning. And the pitch count up now to 64. And this, I believe, will be his 30th pitch this inning. Ooh, Butera blocked part of it, and then it came up and got Cabrera in the face. It's the last thing the Indians need. They've had some injuries they've been dealing with, curious ones at that. And Cabrera all right.
That ball might have bounced away farther than we think. If he had not been in the way of that could have been trouble.
1-2. And now that gets Butera. So everybody's dinged up at home plate.
This looks like a good time for a conference on the mound. Boy, Nick's really been up. You see that pitch right there. off-speed pitch of some kind. Looked like either a slider that didn't break or a changeup, and he's been up a lot more this inning than he has in the previous 3.
Mauer at first base thinking, I think I made the right choice.
Well, there's nothing like making about 6 diving plays your first 3 games that you ever play over there to make you think that it'd be okay to go over.
1-2 again to Orlando Cabrera. Popped up. Mauer watches it spin back over the roof of his dugout. Well, it's got to be tough. You say he's getting the pitches up, but he's thrown as many pitches almost here in the 4th as he did in the first 3 innings combined.
Well, you don't know which comes first, Dick. I mean, if you're getting pitches up, you're going to throw more up.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, they're either not going to they're going to be hit for hits or called balls. But yes, this is when the heat starts to get to you. But when you're throwing a lot of pitches and the guys are out there a long time.
Breaking ball, hammered foul. And Cabrera grunting in disgust because I think he got a hanger and he didn't do anything with it.
He sure did. That's a definition of a hanger right there, ladies and gentlemen. You try to throw a slider, you want that down and away, and the ball just kind of settle right in the middle of the zone. When the hitter misses that one, he knows he missed an opportunity.
And Cabrera really wearing out Blackburn. Eight pitches in this at bat after a long at bat resulted in the drop fly ball in center field. Bouncer to third. Foul. It hit the runner in foul territory. After got hit in the backside, standing in foul territory. This will be the 10th pitch.
Normally you kind of try to get out of the way of the ball. I think he wanted that ball to hit him.
1-2 again. 10th pitch of the at bat against Orlando Cabrera. Little roller. It'll put the Indians in front. And that's out number 2.
That's a great at bat by the crafty old veteran. Foul off a lot of pitches, realizing that all you have to do is hit the ball in the middle of the diamond and get yourself an RBI and put your club ahead by a run. You could tell by his whole approach at the plate there, he was just trying to make contact somewhere, preferably in the middle of the diamond. He got the job done.
Lonnie Chisenhall struck out his first time up. Blackburn going from the stretch with a runner at third and 2 down. The Indians going single walk to start the inning. Called second strike, and all 3 of those runners come around to score. But there was a big error in the middle of it all.
And you got to give this Indians lineup a lot of credit. They're in first place for a reason. They've got guys up there all the time giving them really good at bats and scoring runs.
An exhausting, wilting 4th inning for Nick Blackburn comes to a close. brought to you by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. And by AT&T. Michael Kadire takes a breaking pitch. Strike one as the Twins come to the plate in the bottom of the fourth. Down a run now. Tomlin gave up 2 first-inning runs. Twins have had at least a hit in every inning. There's another off-speed pitch, and it's called ball 1. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
Here's Jerry going over to talk to young Ben Revere there a little bit about that last fly ball that he was unable to come up with.
And Kadire chips it into center field. Well, he fell behind in the count, and Tomlin threw him well off the plate. And Kadire was flicked it into center field for a leadoff hit.
That's what he does so well when he's swinging well. He doesn't give himself away with his front side. He stays in there, battles. He's so strong. You see right here how square he stays, how close his front side stays until the very last. The only way you can handle that pitch at all. And he's so strong, he's able to muscle the ball in. When he's swinging well, he gets a lot of 2-strike hits like that into right field. Very impressive.
Tommy laces it to left center.
Get that ball.
And it's off the glove of the center fielder, Carrera. Tommy goes to second. Kadire around third. He's coming in. The game is tied. Carrera didn't catch a ball in center, and the Twins tie it up very quickly here in the fourth.
Well, it's a good effort by Carrera. I don't blame him for diving. I really think he thought he was going to be able to catch this ball, and he might have. I think he got his glove to it. Tommy rips it into center field. I think with the glove on the same side as the ball, I think it's a nice try. He lays out. He does get to the ball, but just didn't catch it. If ever you're going to dive for a ball in center field and let it go to the fence, you might as well do it when Jim Tommy's running, because he will be in his home run trot anyway.
There's one speed with Jim.
There's only one speed.
Well, Tommy ties it up with an RBI double. And Valencia will hit. And Valencia takes strike one. Valencia, of course, got the game-winning hit against his college roommate, Chris Perez, last night. And then Perez came over to his house. And I'm sure you must have many times had Fred Lynn over to your house when he was in town.
I'm sorry. Freddie and I were great teammates and friends at USC.
Bouncer to short. Tommy, of course, has to stay put as Drupal Cabrera throws across, and Valencia leaves Tommy at second base.
But we would not have done that. I had lots of friends in the game, and because I play with different teams or in college. But I don't know. He's the enemy. You don't. I love you, but you're not staying at my house when we're playing against each other.
Here's Delman Young, hit a bouncer to second his first time.
And there's a situation, too, with nobody out. I really think this early in the game, Danny's got to try to hit the ball, move the runner over to third base. I know he's a good RBI man. He's driven a lot of big runs.
There's a liner to left center, and Tomey's going to go to third, and they're going to wave him in.
It's far enough.
So Delman Young drives in Tomey, and the Twins regain the lead.
Big at-bat by Delman Young. Good for him. Real nice swing and a breaking ball. Looked like a breaking ball, and really kind of picks them up there, because again, you want to be able to play Twins baseball in the fourth inning. We got a runner on second base in a tie game. As you see here, a good swing by Delman, waits back, hands back, little slider or
Slutter, you called that.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a slutter or a little bit of a harder curveball. That wasn't as good slutter.
The Twins bunched 3 hits together to score a couple of runs in the first, and now 3 hits over 4 at-bats in the fourth, and they're back in front. Here's Nishioka. Flicked a single into center field his first time up, and now bounces one foul.
So just to finish the thought about what you're trying to do on the ball field in the fourth inning, when you just tied the score, you got a chance to move a guy to third base with less than 2 out. I think you got to try and do that, kind of like what Joe did with a 1-0 lead in the. I think you got to try to move them over. If you get hit over there, great. But let's get him to third. Let's get that blinding speed to third so he can score out.
Not defending Valencia, but there in reality is no guarantee that Tommy is going to advance on a 2-hopper to Orlando Cabrera anyway, right?
Absolutely true.
2 strikes.
And he might have gotten the sign. For all I know, he might have looked in there and they could tell him from the bench, just go ahead and drive the run in. You know, I mean, we won't worry about you moving him over there. Generally speaking, in the 4th inning, when you've just had a lead evaporate, now you're coming back. Generally speaking, I would say let's move the run.
2 strikes to Nishioka. And a pitch is up.
Bellman's been pretty good himself at getting guys in from scoring position, especially third with less than 2 out. He very well may have been told from the bench, go ahead, Danny, go ahead and drive it in. We won't worry about right field.
And Young back to the bag. Twins with 8 quick hits against Tomlin. In fact, they're 8 for 16 against him. They're hitting .500 against the Cleveland right-hander so far today. And Nishioka bounces one foul.
A couple of reasons for that, I think, Dick. We talked about it a little bit at the onset. That he's around the plate a lot. He throws 3 or 4 different kinds of pitches, but he's around the plate with them, and so you're up there in the hitter's mode anyway. You're up there swinging. No reason to take. Also, the Twins' approach, I think, is pretty good. I think it would suit. It's a good matchup for them against Tomlin. The way they like to keep the ball in the center of the diamond.
And Nishioka getting a piece of everything that Tomlin's throwing up there. Did you ever catch?
I never ever caught. Well, no, I never caught. I don't think
in an organized game.
No, I never caught an organized game. I caught some batting practice when I was a kid just to see what it was like. Didn't take me long to realize why they called it the tools of ignorance. And I jumped back out of it.
1-2. Nishioka pops it foul and out of play.
It's interesting that I've handed a note here. 5 of the Twins' 8 hits have come on one of the first 2 pitches that they've seen, which is further substantiation of what we're talking about. The Twins are going up there ready to hit something over the middle of the plate if they get it. There's no real reason to take with this fellow.
1-2. Curve 2-2. Twins trying to make Tomlin shoot some bullets here in the 4th inning, like the Indians made Blackburn throw an awful lot of pitches. Tomlin's thrown 56 on the day. And another pitch up and another foul back.
As a hitter, when I knew a guy had 3 or 4 pitches that he could throw for strikes, it made me a little bit more aggressive early in the count too, because I didn't want to go to 2 strikes and have to contend with 4 different potential pitches than a guy. If a guy just had 1 or 2 pitches and he was having trouble getting one of them over, I could be a little bit more selective. But there's no real reason to wait on a guy like this.
5 2-strike fouls for Nishioka in this plate appearance. He played with one of the best at that, Mr. Carew. Seemed to have at bats where he single-handedly just wanted to exhaust a pitcher by flicking those pitches right out of the catcher's mitt down the third baseline.
He was terrific at that. He could foul off tough pitches and get a base hit after that. Base better than anybody I ever saw. Then his someone very close, maybe if not his equal, is someone very close as Wade Boggs. He used to drive guys crazy. Yeah. Well, he was in center diamond, left-hand hitter, hit the ball up the middle and the other way, left center and left field all the time. That's the way he set up, and he would just foul pitch after pitch after pitch off, and then finally line one to center for a hit.
And finally, a little pop-up near third base. Nishioka is retired for the second out. That'll bring up Umpire. Window Concepts, window of opportunity. We've talked so much about the Twins getting back to the 500 mark after being 20 games under. In reality, it's never happened in Major League Baseball, where a team has fallen 20 games under and gotten back to 500. The best, the 1927 Reds, who got to within 3 games of the 500 mark.
Well, wouldn't you say that if anybody was going to do it, the Twins are the kind of personality and club that could?
That's why I just, everybody was disappointed in the outcome of the doubleheader. But if the Twins win here today, they're 5 games behind Cleveland. Detroit coming to town. If the Twins can win that series, so many people I talk to still aren't believers that this team is a contender. And a lot of people thought, I think, Monday, well, that's the end of the season. We've still got more than 2 months to go.
There's so much baseball left. That's like making a double bogey on the 3rd hole and saying my round's over with. There's a lot of golf left.
On strike 1 and 2. Well, it was just a couple years ago. The Twins were 7.5 games back in early September, caught and passed the Tigers.
Right. You just never know what other teams are going to do, and if you can win in your division and hold serve as best you can, you just never know.
Breaking ball left up and in. Butera swings through it. The Twins come back with 2 of their own in the bottom of the 4th. We're at Target Field, and man, is it hot. We're glad you're with us. Marnie Gellner, Roy Smalley, Dick Bramer bringing you the telecast. The telecast, by the way, we weren't scheduled to bring you. We hope that you were made aware of it and have been with us since first pitch. But the Twins and Fox Sports North adding some telecasts along the way here because we anticipate there being a pennant race all the way to the very end, and we want to cover it to the very best of our abilities. 1-1. Big inning for Blackburn. He'll face Kearns, Valbuena, and Carrera. And now 2-1. 111 is what it says.
Just the way we like it.
Yeah. That's down on the field. 3-1. And Blackburn, who had an exhausting 4th inning, does not want to start the 5th with a leadoff walk.
No, very, very important to get back in his rhythm and get to throwing strikes again.
And a check swing, and it's ball 4. They appeal, but a leadoff walk here in the 5th inning. So the tying run aboard with nobody out. How hot were you in Kansas City on that artificial turf on a day like today? I mean, was it as bad as they said it was?
It was worse than what they said it was. It was really hot. And for the most part, I like wearing metal spikes when I played. I was at that era.
Well, a walking lead for Kearns.
Yeah.
Butera's throw.
What a great throw.
And a tag at second by Nishioka.
That's a great throw and tag right there.
You couldn't have gotten a better lead than Kearns. He literally got a walking lead off of first.
And Drew Butera made it all back. He comes flying out of there and throw. Watch how quick the tag goes straight down. That talks an umpire into that. That's a good tag and a really great play by Butera, because you're right, Dick. That should have been a stolen base.
2 down. Well, Butera, catching the day game after the night game.
Well, watch what catchers do. When they see a runner take off, they come flying out of there. They don't wait to catch the ball first. He gave the umpire a good look by stepping to the side and backhanding the ball, which also puts him in perfect throwing position. That's the way you're taught it. You know, Drew does everything so fundamentally well behind the plate. I mean, just really, really fundamentally sound catcher.
Well, 3 throwouts the last 2 days. 1 strike to Carrera, who knows all about Butera's throwing ability. Butera's thrown him out twice trying to steal. 2 strikes. All right. Leadoff walk notwithstanding, just the type of inning Nick Blackburn was looking for.
Yeah.
Lottery winner circle, $100 worth of scratch-off lottery tickets for Randall from Rochester. He's got the old head in the sign, and the sign is melting just a little bit. It's gone a little soft. How are you guys dealing with the heat here this afternoon?
Woo, we're having fun, though. We got to watch Jim Thome get that nice hit, and we're up, so we're happy. Woo!
Very happy, apparently. I hope Roy is doing the circling this afternoon. Either way, $100 worth of scratch-off tickets for this guy whose attitude has not wilted in the heat, apparently, Dick.
All right, yay! Woohoo!
I forget, was it Randall from Rochester or Rochester from Randall? At any rate, he's having a good time. And a little chopper up the line. Tomlin underhands it, and Revere retired for the first out of the 5th.
And out of respect for Bird, I just gave him 3/4 of a second.
Okay.
That's Bird's.
Saturday, the Twins will be hosting the Tigers, and it's the second DQ cap day of the season. Always one of the most popular promotional items of the summer. The first 20,000 fans at the ballpark will get them. First pitch Sunday at 3:10. To check on ticket availability, call 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com. Here's Casilla, who's smoked 2 line drives, 1 for a double, 1 for a single. And he was acting as if he was thinking about bunting.
Let's stay hot here. We could use a few more runs.
1-1.
And I mean stay hot figuratively, because I know that they've stayed hot literally.
Swing and a miss. I was amazed to check with Rick McWayne yesterday regarding the doubleheader on Monday. And yes, it's true, folks. They had ETs in the clubhouse administering IVs to players as a precaution. You know, we've heard of players getting dehydrated for one reason or another, and then you get an IV and you get some body fluids back in, but they did it as a preemptive strike between games of the doubleheader. Another comebacker. Tomlin throws, and Casilla retired, 2 away.
I had not heard of that before, but it makes sense to me. I've learned over time that you can't catch up with hydration. You have to do it in advance.
Right.
And when you're heading into games like this, you have to hydrate today for what you think you're gonna need tomorrow. And so I'm not surprised if they have that availability, they would be doing that.
And again, the brilliance of the man who normally sits in that chair, because he stays hydrated all the time.
Absolutely. There's never been a dehydrated moment in his life.
Here's Mauer checking his swing. Up and in, ball 1. Jones hit the ball hard twice. Ground ball, RBI single in the first, and then he hit the ball harder in the third, but lined into a double play. Boy Smalley sitting in for Bert Blyleven, who's on his way to Cooperstown. This heat wave, unfortunately, is probably on its way to Cooperstown.
I would imagine that there will be a little heat on that podium. Bert will have to contend with, but he will not care.
1-1. The Twins first baseman. Breaking ball over the outside corner.
I've noticed that Tomlin likes to do that. He likes to try what we call backdoor the breaking ball. That's a nice pitch. It starts outside, looks like it, and the hitter tends to give up on it, and it keeps coming.
Another liner and glove by Cabrera. So Mauer again puts the barrel of the bat on the ball. Tomlin faces just 3 men. Three home games left after today before Bert's enshrinement in the Baseball Hall of Fame. They've delayed the start time here on Sunday so that the fans who have tickets here can get to the ballpark and watch his induction on the big video board here.
Very nice. That'll be a great moment. That'll be fun to be in the ballpark here for that.
Here's Asdrubal Cabrera taking down and in from Nick Blackburn. Cabrera singled off the end of his bat right into center field, and it was all part of a 3-run 4th inning when the Indians very briefly took a lead. 1-0. And now a strike. Mentioned before, Tomlin's leading the Indians in wins. Blackburn tied for the Twins lead in wins as a pitcher.
Called strike 1 and 2. Blackburn has 7. Baker has 7. Dunsing has 7. And then Liriano and Pavano each have 6. And Cabrera looks at another strike over the inside corner. 1 away.
And again, that's what pitching inside will do. He went inside 1-1 to get strike 2, and Cabrera would never believe he would come back in there again. He's looking to protect that against that sinker away, and Blackburn came in there twice right on the corner. That ball starting inside, tailing back. That's a great pitch.
So 1 gone, and Hafner at the plate drew a walk, scored in the 4th inning. And a strike. Big series with the Tigers coming up. Justin Verlander perhaps on his way to a Cy Young season. He'll start the opener. The Tigers actually pushing him back a day, allowing him to pitch the opener against Pavano. Here's Hafner driving one to the right field corner, and that's going to stay fair. Kadair has to play the bounce. Hafner running to second. And Hafner with a sprawling slide into second and a 1-out double. And you saw the indecisive Twins starting on Saturday with either Baker or Swarzak. Now, Scott Baker today had a bullpen session, and if it all went well, then I guess that determination won't be made until tomorrow. He comes to the ballpark, and if everything feels fine, then it's anticipated that he'll go ahead and make that start this weekend.
Travis Hafner showing that he doesn't normally slide head first. We're not real familiar with that, it looked like. I think I'll just fall down and maybe I'll get there.
He slid like a guy who has had a lot of shoulder problems. There's in our instructional last night, or a couple nights ago.
I didn't realize that we had Travis Hafner out there for the instructional. That was pretty good. Poor Peter.
3-0 now to Santana. Blackburn with 94 pitches. Santana's 0 for 2, called out on strikes in that 3-run 4th inning. And a breaking ball over for a strike, so Blackburn threw him a breaking pitch on 3-0.
Unconventional, but very, very effective for a couple of reasons. Number one, maybe he just was not feeling good about the release point on his fastball or sinker, and so let me try something else. He might have had the idea, he and Drew Butera, that Santana could be swinging, and it puts a whole lot of doubt in the hitter's mind now about what he might get.
And he gets another breaking pitch for strike 2.
You bet. If you're going to throw it 3-0, why wouldn't you throw it 3-1? That's what I mean about putting the doubt in the hitter's mind, the uncertainty. At 3-0, if you're hitting 3-1, definitely you're hitting. You really want to get a fastball. That's what you think you're going to get. Now what's he going to throw? The hitter doesn't know.
Bouncer to second. And on a fastball, Santana retired, and Hafner goes to third.
Isn't that great? He throws a 3-0 slider, a 3-1 slider. Now the hitter doesn't know what the heck's coming. He throws a fastball down the middle, and the hitter he waits too long and jams himself on a ball that, if he had gotten that 3-1, he might have hit it in the seats.
Well, or 3-0. Or 3-0. If he had been green lighted.
If he had been green lighted, right.
Well, the tying run at third, 2 away, and here's Matt Laporta. One thing we've seen from Laporta, and we saw it, although maybe wind aided in the 4th, this guy can hit the ball a long ways. We've seen him hit the ball to the opposite field and bank one off the limestone facing in right field. He's got a lot of power.
He does have a lot of power, and I noticed that so far this year, and I haven't looked at his career numbers, but so far this year he hasn't been real good against left-handed pitching, which is kind of surprising. You would think a big, strong right-handed hitter like this would feast on left-handed pitching, but not yet.
Breaking ball left up and in, ball 1. Laporta, a big piece of the puzzle. You can see Laporta's struggles against lefties and really not that great against righties, but a lot of power. Another one left up and in, 2-0.
Well, you would think that was kind of my point. You would think if a guy could hit 259 against right-handers and then really, really feast on left-handers, you'd have the kind of big right-hand hitter in the middle of your lineup that you wanted. But He hasn't done that yet.
And that gets away from Butera. Hafner's going to try to score, and he's safe. Butera hesitated. I don't know if he didn't get a good grip on the ball, and the Indians have tied the game.
I think he had it. I think he was surprised at where Blackburn was and where Hafner was. It didn't look like he re-gripped it. That's just an oops on Drew's part. That's a ball that he catches 99 times, maybe more than that, out of 100. He just clanged it.
And a strike, a pass ball. And Butera looked at the play and then hesitated.
I think he knew that Hafner was on third and thought maybe he, not the speediest runner, might not be trying to come to the plate, but Hafner got a pretty good jump, and it paid off for him. These are the kinds of runs, that one and the fly ball to center field, those are the kinds of runs and innings that drive a manager, and especially Ron Gardenhire, crazy, because
that's a bouncer foul.
You have the kind of team historically that takes a lot of pride in playing the game crisply and sharply and not giving teams extra outs and extra runs that they don't earn. And especially now when you don't have all your horses on the field, you've had guys injured, you're playing with the best lineups that you can. You have to play the game crisply. And today has not been a good example of that.
Little roller off the mound, and Nishioka spins, fires, and that ends the inning. Good play, but the pass ball allows the Indians to tie it up on the top of the sixth.
It is not going to be hot, nor is humid compared to the past couple of days. First pitch coming in at 85 degrees.
Slip on a sweater. Well, Drew Butera frustrated because the passed ball allowed the Indians to tie it up in the top of the sixth. Now the middle of the Twins lineup in the bottom of the inning. Michael Kadire takes down and away ball one.
I think this is an important inning for the Twins. I think it would be really significant if they score a few runs here against the starting pitcher Tomlin before they get to that real good bullpen out there. Nick Blackburn's thrown 104 pitches. We see the Twins bullpen starting to get loose out there. A couple of guys out in the bullpen. When you get to 104 pitches in this heat, it starts wearing someone down, and Tomlin won't be out there an awful lot longer.
Kadire shoots it to the right field corner, but caught by Kern. Pretty well hit ball for the first out of the sixth. And before Jim Thome comes up, you can log on to FoxSportsNorth.com for the latest story from special web contributor Michael Kadire. This week, Michael writes about Bert Blyleven, and with the retirement of his number last weekend, all the way to his upcoming Hall of Fame induction, Bert is the embodiment of the game in baseball, according to Michael. Read the story and more right now at foxsportsnorth.com. Here's Thome, doubled off the glove of a diving Ezekiel Carrera, driving in Kadire in the 4th inning. 1 strike. 2 strikes. Indians have scored their 4 runs without a run-producing hit. Sacrifice fly, the error on Revere, a ground ball to second, and a pass ball. Up and away.
It's always amazed me about Jim Thome, as much of a home run hitter as he is. He's always in such great balance. Even when he swings and misses, even if he doesn't hit the center of the ball, you know, if he doesn't square it up all the time. One of the reasons that he's been such a great hitter, I think, is because he's been in such great balance. His legs are so sturdy underneath him. Lands soft, gets a good look at the ball. And then all that other great stuff happens. The strength and the talent and the extension.
Fly ball to left. And Valbuena staring up into the sun, squeezes it out, number 2. Time now for the CenturyLink high-speed pitch. I guess Tomlin and Blackburn about even. Blackburn at 92, Tomlin at 90. Blackburn over 100 pitches. It looks like Alex Burnett will get the 7th inning. We'll see if the Twins can get something done here with 2 outs in the 6th. Valencia at the plate. Mentioned that Tomlin has been home run prone this year, given up 18. 2nd in the American League in home runs allowed. And we say that because Valencia is leading the team with 2nd on the team with 11 home runs.
I think it's a good time to bring that up. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then go 2-0 real quick. I like this count too.
3-0 with Delman Young on deck. When the Indians took their lead in the top of the 4th, the Twins answered with 2 in the bottom of the 4th. Now the Indians have tied it in the top of the 6th. 3-1 to Valencia.
Now here's a count, 3-1, excuse me, Dick, but here's a count right now. Danny can look for the ball from the middle of the plate in. He likes to get around the ball a little bit anyway so that the ball feels and appears even more into it. Get the big end of the bat out there and take a shot. Okay, he was trying to.
You got to break that cutter or whatever.
Right. He didn't get the fastball he's looking for. For 1 strike there again, 3-1. Give yourself a chance to cheat on the fastball a little bit, see where it goes. Now you got to go back and be protective.
And a chopper over the head of Steve Little. One of the things the Twins want Valencia to work on, being a little more selective. Just 25 walks on the season against 64 strikeouts. Full count with 2 gone, bottom of the 6th. Another bouncer foul.
I think Danny will learn that. I think what we saw was his ability to hit for a fairly high average when he came up last year, hitting the ball, a lot of singles and doubles to center field, right center, down the right field line. Not a whole lot of home runs. And he realized toward the second half of last year that he could hit the ball out of the ballpark in the big leagues, and he hit a bunch early this season, and he's got a little left field conscious and left field happy, home run happy, if you will.
This one flipped into right field and an easy play for Kearns. And Tomlin pitches through the middle of the Twins lineup, going 1, 2, 3 in the 6th. Morneau story of the game.
Well, in the first inning, after Ben Revere had singled, Alexi Casilla ripped a double down the right field line, scoring Ben Revere. Then Joe Mauer rolled a single through the right side, scoring Alexi. Then in the fourth inning, the Indians struck back with the bases loaded. Ben Revere misplayed a ball out in center field. 2 runs scored. Twins came back after Jim Thome had doubled in 1 run. Delvin Young drove in Thome, and they had a lead 4-3. But then in the 6th inning, with a runner on third, pass ball by Drew Butera. Not sure exactly what happened. The normally very sure-handed Drew Butera, but that tied the score. That's where we are right now in the top of the 7th, 4-4.
And the Twins turn the game over to the bullpen. Alex Burnett's had a couple of very good outings here in this homestand, hoping for another good one here this afternoon. Facing Orlando Cabrera. Liner over the head of Nishioka. And Revere closing on it, charging and holding Cabrera to a first pitch single. So Burnett will pitch with a man aboard, nobody out, facing Lonnie Chisenhall.
Orlando Cabrera, veteran hitter, comes up against a relief pitcher early in the game, trying to get himself established with a fastball strike down the middle. Orlando Cabrera says, nope, I would be ready for that. Not going to let you get your feet on the ground that easily. If you throw it over the middle, I'm going to be hacking.
Here's Chisenhall. Cabrera, of course, has had a horseshoe in his pocket the last few years. He's happened to play for teams that eventually have gotten to the playoffs. Good friend of yours, Don Baylor, had that going for a while in the late 80s. Every year he went to the World Series.
Donnie played three straight World Series with 3 different clubs.
The Red Sox, the Twins, and the A's.
Yep, that's right. But you know what? Good teams want to get players like that. It's not all luck. It's the kind of player and the kind of guy that you are that ends up getting you to contending teams at the right time. Cabrera's done a good job for the teams that have acquired him late in the season.
Chisenhall was struck out twice. Valencia playing about even with the bag at third. Long hold by Burnett and a pitch up and away, 1-1.
I think what happens with a guy like Orlando Cabrera here toward the end of his career is the reason why the Twins got him and then the Reds and now the Indians is he was not the answer for any of these teams long term at shortstop, but they didn't have a better option. And to be able to pick up a veteran player that was going to make the routine plays and give you some offense is huge when you're trying to win down the stretch. So not being the long-term option, what I mean by that is they weren't going to give him a long-term deal or the kind of money that Orlando Cabrera was looking for. But in the meantime, they could pick him up for a half a season or better and get an awful lot out of it.
1-2 to Chisenhall with Cabrera bluffing towards second base. I doubt anyone, particularly Cabrera, would try to steal on Drew Butera, but never know about a hit and run or something like that. Chisenhall's had a tough time making contact.
Yeah, I would say in this situation with 1 out, they might hit and run. Nobody out, probably not. I've been a little surprised that Manny Acta has run when he has, though. Last night also.
That's going to be trouble. A little flare in the left and a base hit. Cabrera slams on the brakes. And so the 7th inning starts with a pair of singles and immediate trouble for Alex Burnett.
Ball not hit very hard. It got in on him, but you know, it's funny when the ball is up in the strike zone, bad things happen. You tend to get hit hard, and when they're not hit hard, since they're up in the strike zone, the ball tends to get over the infielders, and pitchers will look at that and say, man, I jammed him. But the problem is that it was up. And here's Orlando Cabrera thinking about going to third base because the ball was blooped down the line, but Delvin Young did a good job of getting the ball in a hurry.
There's Austin Kearns, grounded to third and a walk so far today. Squaring to bunt, dropping down a good one. Burnett sets himself and fires a sacrifice, advancing both runners into scoring position. Valencia had retreated to the bag. Catcher make that call because the pitcher really can't see what's going on. Does Butera make the call as to where the throw should go?
Catcher lets him know right away. And when the third baseman doesn't call him off, that's another clue to the pitcher that he's out there by himself. There's nobody there. Gutierrez telling him first base. He's coming to the ball until the third baseman calls him off. And since Danny Valencia was back to the bag and didn't come after the ball, he knows that it's his play and his play alone.
Scotty Elger to the mound, and so Maharis, who's been warming up in the bullpen, shouldn't take anybody long to warm up. He's going to come in and try to get Valbuena with the go-ahead run at third. See every game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit twinsbaseball.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. In-market blackout rules apply. Well, with Valbuena due up, the Twins bring the left-handed pitcher in. And Valbuena will try to get the go-ahead run in. The Twins are going to have the infield in here. Maharis' first job is to throw strikes and try to get the number 9 batter.
That's something I know you and Bert have talked about. Jose Maharis has not been as effective at that, throwing strike, coming in, throwing strike 1, strike 2 as he has in the past. When he does that, he's terrific against left-hand hitters. And this is an interesting move as well, Dick. You were pointing out to me in the break that Valbuena hit about 286 against left-handers and 091 against right-handers. Why would you bring in a left-hander? But
just a handful of
just a handful of at-bats, and there aren't a whole lot of right-handers left on Manny Acta's bench. I think Maharis has got some left-handers here to get out.
Slow breaking ball, strike 1. Yeah, a total of 15 at-bats on the year, so a very small sample size. And you play the percentages here with Maharis pitching to Valbuena and getting ahead of him with the breaking ball. Another one popped up. Mauer in foul ground, making the catch. 2 down.
And with Carrera on deck, another left-handed hitter coming up, and no real option for Cleveland manager Manny Acta to go right-handed. I think the Twins felt confident playing the percentage here.
Another breaking ball looked like.
Yeah, 2 breaking balls in a row. That actually is kind of a cookie. He just missed it. If you were ever going to get a left-hander on left-hander and get a pitch to hit, that was the one. He just Valbuena just didn't do it.
Corner infielders up, middle infielders back. They're 2 away. Another breaking ball over for strike 1. Maharis, in a sense, kind of the reliever version of Francisco Liriano. At times he seems to have better control of the breaking pitch than the fastball.
Well, I really like this strategy too. Had come in throwing breaking balls over the plate. It fools the hitters. You know, hitters come in against a left on left in a relief situation. Left-hand hitter looking for a fastball, not a breaking ball. It kind of gets Maharis into the game.
Check swing foul, 2 strikes.
And then makes that fastball look extra special fast. That's the first fastball that any either left-hander has seen. Makes it look about 5 miles an hour faster there when it does. Now the hitter's 0-2 and he doesn't know what he's going to get, because he's seen both to Valbuena and to himself. He's seen the ability that Maharis has to get both pitches over. And that's what you're trying to create as a pitcher, is a real uncertainty and anxiety in the hitter's mind.
Bouncer headed up the middle. Casilla gets in front of it, throws on the run. Mauer has to dig out a low throw. Carrera runs fast, so Casilla sped up his throw, and Mauer saves the inning and keeps it 4-4. Time for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Medica. McDonald's. Right now, you can get 20 crispy chicken McNuggets for just $4.99 at McDonald's. By the new Quest 5-year price lock promise. Visit quest.com/promise for details. And by Goldman Sachs. For all the reasons you invest. Mutual funds from Goldman Sachs. Joe Mauer with a nice backhanded pickup to get the Twins off the field in a tie game.
It was a terrific play, and Alexi Casilla is the happiest guy on the field right now that his teammate picked him up. He made a nice play to field the ball, threw the ball low in the dirt. Mauer picked it. Really nice play by a really great athlete.
Delman Young leading off against Joe Smith as the Indians turn the game over to their bullpen. Smith's been outstanding, as the Cleveland bullpen generally has been very, very good. And Young lifts a fly ball to center. Carrera coming in, one away.
We watch this play that Joe Mauer makes. Alexi makes a nice play. He's got time. He throws it low in the dirt. This could be a run or two. Joe makes a great pick. And look at Alexi. He goes, oh my gosh, I did that to myself. How could I have done that? And Joe, I got to tell you, I just love you.
Aww. One down in the 7th. Now, how many times did you hug Rod Carew after a low throw, or whoever your first baseman, or Kent Herbeck?
Roddy wouldn't let me hug him.
Down and away, ball 1.
I'm teasing. Rod became a terrific first baseman and picked a lot of throws over there. And Kent Herbeck just as good as there ever was at doing that.
2-0 to Nishioka, trying to get aboard here in the Twin 7th.
I tried to hug Herbie one time, but I couldn't get my arms all the way around. Sorry, Herbie, just kidding. If you're watching, just kidding. Just kidding.
Breaking ball hits the outside corner, 2-1. And again, 2-2.
More backdoor breaking balls, and you know, a sidearm slinger like Joe Smith will do that a lot. That he'll feature a backdoor breaking ball.
And he threw 3 in a row, the last one getting a swinging strike.
It's just really, really hard not to give up on a ball that starts out from a side arm or starts outside and gets the outside corner.
If you have a group of 25 or more, check out bringing them to Target Field. You can call 833-TWINS. And maybe you got a church group, business group, family gathering. Go to twinsbaseball.com/groups if you'd like to get more information. 2 gone. Here's Drew Butero for 2. Sinker down and in. Ball 1. To left, a base hit. So Butera, shouldering the blame for the 4th Cleveland run, makes himself and everybody else feel a little bit better with a 2-out single. Pepsi Max in-game box score. Now the number 9 batter has a hit, and Valencia, last night's hero, the only Twin starter without one.
Funny how the game goes that way, but he'll have another chance. Could end up being a hero again. I'd like to see Ben Revere be a hero right here. Scored Drew Butera from first, which is no small request.
Strike 1 to Revere. He singled sharply his first time up. Scored a run back in the first inning. Since then, a fly to left and a comebacker to the mound.
Drew Butera not the speediest runner at first base, so he's going to take a ball to the gap with 2 out. Third base coach Steve Little will take a little bit more of a gamble if there's any chance at all.
There's sidewinding breaking ball for a called strike 2. 1-2. Bernard Span, by the way, getting a scheduled day off as he tries to work his way back to the major league club in Rochester, New York. Popped up a foul ball, chased by Chisenhall, but he has no play. Jason Kubel will play. There is some thought that Kubel might rejoin the club sometime this weekend in the Detroit series. As Ron Gardenhire said again today, Kubel needs to hit the ball better. Right. He needs to have some really good at-bats and prove that he's ready to come up here and contribute right away.
Right. No sense taking up a spot on the bench if you're not swinging the bat well. But Jason Kubel swinging the bat well is very much needed in this lineup. We missed him. It'd be great to have him back and swinging the bat like he was when he got hurt.
2-2 to Revere, and Smith doesn't want the count to go full, but it does. So now Butera will take off with 2 gone, and if Revere can get a double, the chances of Butera scoring are significantly great.
Well, Ben's seen everything that Joe Smith has now. He's seen the sidewinding fastball and the little slurve.
And the ball rolls off the mound, but Smith was not in the stretch position or on the rubber, so there's no balk called. 3-2 to Ben Revere. And he takes a call, 3rd strike. I don't know that Revere could have hit that pitch with a rake.
No, that ball looked outside from up here.
So Revere is out, and the inning ends. To log on to foxsportsnorth.com, check out Game Connect, an interactive tool available during all Twins games. It combines compelling statistical visualizations with conversation and social websites to create a unique way to become involved in the broadcast experience. Check it out at foxsportsnorth.com. Sellout crowd of over 39,000, specifically 39,167. Saw the Twins jump out in front. The Indians briefly lead. Then the Twins led by a run. Indians tied it up. So that's how it's gone here so far as we go to the 8th inning. And that's Asdrubal Cabrera leading things off against Jose Mijares. Breaking ball up and away. We saw Mijares feature that as he got the Twins out of the jam in the 7th inning.
Interesting couple of innings of matchups here, which is what this game is all about, especially in the late innings with Mijares against the Indians lineup. He got the 2 left-handers out. He came in to get the 2 left-handers out in the 7th, as you say, Dick. And to start this inning, Cabrera, a switch hitter, but less power from the right side. So the Twins have a bit of an advantage here over a right-hand pitcher being in the game if Mijares can throw the ball over the plate.
3-0.
Hafner, the left-hander next, and then Santana, who is does not have as much power so far this season as a right-hand hitter. He does as a left. So left-hander would seem to fit the bill here for the Twins against in a big inning here in the 8th if they can get through this inning.
Caps warming up.
Yep.
3-1 now to Cabrera. And a drive to left center field. And Delman Young's not going to catch that ball. It's going to go all the way to the wall. And Cabrera opens the 8th inning with a double. It's not necessarily a walk, but Mijares fell behind a really good hitter, 3-1, and ended up paying the price.
Yeah, 3-1. The hitter's sitting all over a fastball and gets one up and out over the plate. Good hitter's not going to miss that too often on 3-1. That's why we've been talking about why getting ahead is so important. Pitching ahead, it just puts that uncertainty, enough uncertainty in a hitter's mind. Huge difference between 2-2 and 3-1. I can't even tell you.
He came into the game in the 7th through nothing but strikes and then missed fired in his first 3 pitches. So now Cabrera at second, and here's Travis Hafner. Hafner has scored a couple of runs, once after a walk and once after a double to right. Strike 1.
Mijares just looks so much more comfortable and confident against left-handed pitchers. You can tell when a right-hander gets up there after, as you say, throwing nothing but strikes against the left-handers, then all of a sudden just not finding the strike zone against the first right-hander he sees. And that's been kind of the pattern.
Poke to right, hanging in the air. Now Kadire coming in, making the catch, 1 away. So Hafner retired, back to a right-handed switch hitter in Carlos Santana.
And the Twins get a break there. Hafner trying to do his job, even though he's he's the third hitter there in the lineup. He's trying to hit the ball to the right side with 1 out, get the runner to third base with getting to third base with 1 out.
So now Mijares facing the cleanup hitter for Cleveland, Carlos Santana, who is 0 for 3. And with a right-hander Matt Laporta on deck, this might be the last man Mijares would be asked to face. Twins have caps warming up for a reason. They do a great job of that anyway. In fact, they may make the move now with Scotty Alger coming out. And so Mijares faces 2 men, gets them in the 7th, faces 2 men, gets 1 of them in the 8th. And the Twins are going to hand the ball to Matt Capps to try to keep this a 4-4 game.
4-4, and this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Well, Santana had to go back and get a different helmet because he's now going to be asked to hit left-handed, which is, the numbers suggest, his weaker side. So Matt Capps brought in to turn Santana over to his least effective side as a switch hitter.
Yes, least effective from an average standpoint, much better power numbers. He has 1 home run and 99 at bats, I think I saw, as a right-handed batter, and he's averaging about 7 home runs. I think he's 14 and about 219 at bats or something like that, 214.
But he's hitting just over 200 as a left-handed batter.
Right.
And so that's the idea here. I have Capps, who faced 2 men, got them both last night in the 8th inning. Try to get a couple of outs here in the 8th inning again today.
Right, so let's keep the ball in the ballpark, and we got a good chance of getting this guy.
And of course, that's been an issue for Capps, keeping the ball in the ballpark. Fastball just outside, ball 1. Capps was in this role, and then he was moved into the closer's role. Now he's back in this role. I think Bert called it last night a baby step last night as he tries to recover from the roughest stretch of his career. Fouled back, 1-1.
And everybody goes through those kinds of patches and stretches, as you call it, Dick. And you lose a little confidence. It usually starts with mechanics. Something's a little bit off. In a pitcher's case, and in Matt Capps' case, not as much movement on his fastball, and the ball's up in the zone a little bit more often than it normally is. And start getting roughed up a little bit, and then the confidence wanes, and it makes matters worse. And you just got to battle through that.
1-1. And now 1-2. It makes no difference what your name is. The fans have booed Matt Capps, but whether your name is Matt Capps or Mariano Rivera, you can't put the ball where he's been putting it.
Correct.
And expect results.
That's correct. And whether you're Matt Capps or Mariano Rivera, if you don't get the job done, the fans are going to let you hear about it. And that's the other thing you have to battle through in this game.
1-2. And a foul at the plate.
Those are the kind of swings from left-handed hitters, again, that you love to see happen with Matt Capps on the mound. It means the ball's getting on him quick, and it's sinking enough to get below their bat. Managers and pitching coaches will look at the way a hitter looks when he's swinging, the way the ball comes off the bat. Even in outs, if they're being hit hard, it's an alarm. If they're being pounded in the ground, that's a good thing.
Foul back. 94 miles per hour, but elevated a little bit.
Yep, elevated, and the ball doesn't sink up there. That's not where he wants.
So Santana's gotten a piece of a pitch down and in and up and away. As we told you before, he is very strikeout prone, a strikeout about every 3 at bats, and that's what Capps is going to try to do here.
A real nice trip to the mound real quickly by Drew Butera there. 2 or 3 pitches in a row, down in the zone, had some sink. Then he threw 194, a mile an hour faster, but up in the zone. Drew said, hey, wait, that's not what we're trying to do. It's not how hard, it's the quality of the movement and the location. Back
Bouncer
down there.
right side, high hop for Mauer. He'll make the play, and that's out number 2 with the runner Cabrera moving up a base.
The difference between 93 miles an hour and sink and 94 or 95 and straight is immense to a hitter. Give me 95 and straight, and I'm looking at every day of the week. 93 and sink is tough. It's just tough to square the ball up. And nice trip to the mound there by Drew. It only took him 1 pitch back up in the zone they got away with. Santana fouled it back. And we say, hey, let's talk. We don't want to be up there. Let's get back down here, even if it's 92 or 93. Let's get back down here where we get ground balls.
And now Laporta. Fastball away. Cutter, perhaps. 1-0. The Indians had a threat in the 7th. Stifled by the Twins bullpen, specifically Maharis. They left 2 men in scoring position. Backhanded by Buteri. Does a nice job keeping Cabrera at third. The count 2-0.
That was a really nice play by Drew. Normally you would have a catcher try to jump out and get his body in front of it. He just didn't have time to do that. And this is a do or die play. The ball's thrown so hard and so wild. Drew's got to pick that ball backhanded and does a good job. That ball easily could have gotten by.
2-0 to Matt Laporta. And now 3-0. With Orlando Cabrera on deck.
Here's an example of a guy that just doesn't normally fall behind hitters, doesn't walk anybody, doesn't fall behind, and we've seen him just struggle with command. That's just been an issue.
Check swing and a strike. So Laporta apparently green lighted, and there was something about that pitch on the outer edge or near it that teased him.
Yeah, you can't be fooled by this pitch. When you hit 3-0, you've got to have the ball like inside, wherever you want it, wherever your favorite pitch is. You got to treat it like the ball's coming there, sits on a tee for you. If it's not right in that perfect spot, you just let it go, because now you're going to get another chance 3-1.
High fly, right center field. Ben Revere has a long run, and he gets there and squeezes it for the final out. So Caps gets the 2 outs in the 8th. Cabrera left at third. We're still tied at 4.
Minnesota as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. We hope you'll stay with us for our continued coverage after the final out in Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. It's another hot matchup between the Twins and the Indians, and you know the heat has been a factor in this series. So has the sun. Our post-game instructional will look at how to properly battle the sun and the conditions in a game like this. Ron Coomer will be on the field in center field to show us some of that. Also, your post-game reaction. We hope it's a celebration again from the Twins side. Dick and Roy, we'll see how this one ends shortly.
All right, Marnie, thank you very much. Alexi Casilla will lead off the bottom of the 8th in a tie game, and he'll do so against left-hander Tony Sipp. Sipp came on to get Ben Revere in the ball game last night. And Casilla takes a strike on the inside corner.
Sipp's got great stuff, and it's interesting how managers use their pitchers. They turn Alexi over again to the right side where he's not been as effective. And then he got Joe.
This one hit a long way to left center field. Valbuena chasing it. A ground rule double with Valbuena and Carrera converging. It hit the warning track, and Casilla gets a leadoff double here in the 8th. So again in the late innings, An inexperienced left fielder has to make a big play for Cleveland, and he comes up just a little short.
Well, this is the center fielder's ball, and I think maybe the inexperience being that the center fielder didn't call him off. That's a center fielder's ball if he can get to it, especially with a second baseman playing left field. He's got to go get that ball, and he's got to run the left fielder off. And so the Twins catch a break there, but don't get as much of a break as if the ball had stayed in the ballpark. But that right there, you know, he's looking at the left fielder. He has got to go get that ball. The center fielder Carrera's got to go get that ball, and that's a triple if the ball stays in the ballpark. That's too bad, but all in all, we'll take it. The ball should have been caught.
Here's Joe Mauer, 5 for 8 in his career against Tony Sipp. That's deep to the left field corner, but a foul ball. 1 strike. Of course, Mauer, at the very least, wants to pull the ball on the ground and get Casilla over to third.
That's the ideal. He's got to try to get a pitch that he can hit over there if he can. Now again, in this situation with Joe Mauer up there, he could very well be up there hitting on his own. You got Joe Mauer up there. You say, okay, drive the run in. We'll take the winning run. We don't want to just give up your at bat. It's pretty much up to Joe right here. If he can get a ball that he can drive hard to the right side, great. But against a tough left-hander like this, I think Joe's trying to battle and get the run in. That's what, if I were Gardy, I'd have him hit on his own, do the best you can. If you can pull it, great. But let's take 3 good shots at driving in the winning run.
Up and in, 1-1. Now in the first inning, different time of the game, of course, but Casilla had doubled in a run and he was there, and Mauer did bounce the ball through the right side of the infield.
First inning, absolutely. Let's get an extra run here in the first inning. Then also there was a right-hander up there, a lot more comfortable for Joe to pick out the pitch that he wants to do it. But here are the game on the line, winning run on second base, tough left-hander. I let Joe do whatever Joe wants to do to try to get this run in.
One and one. Fastball inside, 2-1.
I think end's a good place to pitch Joe. It's not where he's normally comfortable. He likes the ball a bit more out over the plate, but you have to be able to get it in there for strikes because he's going to take it if it's a ball, and then he gets ahead in the count. It moves back in his favor.
A breaking ball, and Joe tried to open up and pull it. 2-2.
That's what happens when you impress a hitter that you're going to come in there. You get him just a little bit anxious about getting the bat head out in front to get out there to hit that inside pitch, and it makes you vulnerable to a good slider that comes out of the pitcher's hand looking like a fastball, but then is about in this case 8 miles an hour slower and breaking away. Now Joe will go back to his defensive up the middle and left field approach.
2-2. Slice to left. Valbuena plays it on a hop. Mauer gets a hit. Casilla to third. And again, a tentative play by a guy out in left field who doesn't belong out there. The Indians have no choice because of the injury and illness situation.
Right, and you had a feel for Valbuena out there. That's not his position. He doesn't want the ball to get by him. Both this play and the play last night, maybe he gets to with the dive or with a little bit more aggressive move at the ball, but you know, he's playing defense out there right now, not his normal position.
And might be told to do just that. You know, if you got a second baseman and you're running him out there in left field, if you're Manny Acta, you're saying, hey, don't just try to make some plays out there.
A manager's always trying to put his players in a position where they can be successful, and sometimes you have to ask a guy to go outside his comfort zone, and you can't expect an awful lot from him if you've asked him to do that.
Steve Little all but whispering something in Alexi Casilla's ear off of third base. Mauer at first, Casilla third, Kadire at the plate. Right down the middle, a strike. Kudaire's 1 for 3 days so far, has his average at 298.
Steve Little reminding Lexi Casilla that you're going on a double play ball. You're going on the ground unless it's hit easily where they can't back to the pitcher or third baseman where they can't get to.
Cuddyer slices it foul. Jerry White skips the rope. 2 strikes.
Alexi will most likely hold up if the ball's hit until he sees where they're going with the ball. That if it's a double play ball, he's almost got to go to draw the throw and get the 1 out at the plate.
2 strikes to Cuddyer, trying to lift the ball to the outfield. And instead, Sip rears back and blows him away with a fastball. 1 down. And so the Twins, who dodged a bullet in the 7th and the 8th, now see Cuddyer strike out as the Indians try to dodge one in the bottom of the inning.
Yeah, good high fastball to Michael. Just blew him away right there. Showed him some other stuff. Got to 2 strikes. Again, that uncertainty in the hitter's mind. Then just threw him a real tough pitch up and away. 92, 93 miles an hour, not the easiest pitch to hit.
Tomey's faced Sip 5 times, walked twice, 0 for 3. So now Tomey will try to lift one to the outfield to get the speedy Casilla in from third. Inside, nearly hit him.
And 2 things have to happen here. Alexi's got to go on the ground. Any ball hit on the ground, he's got to go. And Joe's got to try to get as good a secondary lead off of first base as he can. By that I mean after he's sure the pitcher goes to the plate, he's got to bounce off there and be in position to break up the pivot on a potential double play ball.
Inside again, 2-0. Danny Valencia hoping to hit here in the 8th. And if Tomey can't get the job done, he hopes to do it again here this afternoon. Way out in front. And it's 2-1. So Tomey thought he was going to get a 2-0 fastball. And Sip said, no, not this time.
No, not this time. Not with the game on the line. I'm not going to throw you a cookie that I know you're looking for. I'm going to take a chance of not throwing it over. Throw you something else. That's a good pitch. That's pitching. You know, that's what. It's not automatic anymore. There was a time when you thought you could work to get to a fastball count 2-0 and 3-1 and get one, but guys are doing a good job of pitching backwards now.
2-1. And Tomey pounds it foul. 2-2. And Sip trying to wriggle out of a jam after a leadoff double and a follow-up single by Mauer.
We talked about Francisco Liriano having the kind of stuff that can work himself out of jams. Sip has similar kind of stuff. Good hard fastball. Moves around a lot. Hard slider.
Averaging just about a strikeout per inning. Checked his swing, and it's 3-2. All right, given the situation, Joe doesn't have a lot of leg speed. Would you, given all the factors, Tomey's prone to strike out. He's also prone to hit into a double play. Do you send Mauer here?
I would not. I would not. Just lefty on lefty. I would not risk a strike him out, throw him out here and take myself out of the inning.
And just in case Mauer was thinking of that, they throw over. He strikes out a lot. He also walks a lot. Full count. Sip to Tomey. Ball 4. And Santana does a nice job blocking the ball. But now they're loaded for Valencia.
How's he do with the bases loaded?
With the bases loaded last night, he improved his numbers.
And this was a great at-bat by Danny Valencia. He had struck out twice and hitting the double play early in the game, not having a good at-bat, but he fought off a fastball to line a ball into left field. Michael Cadena with a great jump from second base, a great read. And you just love seeing the closer be this upset when you're the other team. That's a good sign. That's a good sign for the Twins. I love seeing closers throwing stuff around.
Twins have pinch run Hughes for Thome, and now the Indians dip into their bullpen. Part of the answer, Hal Trosky, I'll throw out there. No, Matt Lashley.
I was going to say Napoleon LaJoie or Tris Speaker.
Right. Okay.
Because they were two of my favorites on my all-star baseball game. I used to.
Not that thing with the spinner.
With the spinner, absolutely.
The mechanical spinner blade.
Absolutely.
All right. Somebody else played that.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Bases loaded, 1 out. And Vinny Pestano did a great job here the other night. We'll face Danny Valencia, who did a great job last night.
You bet. And Pestano, real good stuff. Throws hard, kind of from the side, got a hard slider. And Danny's problem here, not problem, but his task here is to stay in the middle of the field. You got 1 out, get the runner in from third. If you try to pull the ball and you get thrown those sliders, you're going to make an out. You try to stay in the middle of the diamond. There's the slider right there. That's a tough pitch.
1 strike.
Yeah, first pitch, don't swing at that. That's just an out. You make an out on that pitch.
Hitting over 500 with the bases loaded. Got the game-winning single with the bases loaded last night. 1-1.
Now, if I'm a hitter, I like what I've seen here. He's throwing me a slider outside. He's throwing me a fastball outside. That's enough to tell me, okay, I don't think we're going to risk coming in.
Especially after what happened last night.
Exactly right. So I'm not going to be in too big a hurry inside. I'm looking for the ball out over the plate, which is where I can drive it at. Yep.
1-2.
I just don't think they're going to come in on it. I think they've proven that, and center field is where you want to be anyway with that runner sitting out there on third base.
Garcia ready to scamper home if given the chance. 1-2. Liner off the glove of Cabrera. And Valencia drives in the go-ahead run.
Great at bat. He came back with 2 strikes and went the other way. That's exactly where he needed to be. The first 3 pitches he saw, he was clearly, his body was going toward left field. But when he got to 2 strikes, watch here, he stays a lot longer. Ball out over the plate, and he goes that way. That's big league hitting right there. That's a terrific job.
So a base hit for Valencia, again with the bases loaded. And the Twins have a 5-4 lead. And they're loaded up, reloaded for Delman Young. And Young takes that pitch on the outside corner for a strike.
Nasty pitch, 94 on the black. Again, have the discipline not to get yourself out on a pitch you can't hit anyway. Get a ball in the middle of the plate, drive it in the gap somewhere. That's a good swing.
Like the same pitch Valencia lined into right field. Delman just fouled it to the screen. And Young's got pretty good numbers with the bases loaded.
When a guy throws 93, 94, 95 and has a hard slider he likes to throw away, you got to give up one side of the plate. And with the game on the line, with the guy bases loaded, inside's the best place to give up.
Getting a piece to stay alive.
No hitter really wants to. Nobody wants to get jammed, and most times guys like the ball in so they can drive the ball into their pull field. But in the big leagues, you can't just hit everything, especially in a situation here where you can drive in and run without a base hit. You give up the inside and keep it in the center of the diamond.
Santana set up away, and Pistano missed low and in. 1-2. Mauer at third. Hughes at second, and Valencia at first. And Young on a breaking pitch strikes out for out number 2. That was very similar to the pitch that Valencia swung at for strike 2.
And what happens here? People wonder why would you swing and be this far out in front? Well, you're already committed to the fastball speed. You're concerned that you might get beat on the fastball, and you kind of swing at the first thing that you see. You remember what the speed is of the fastball, and you start out there like it's a fastball, and it turns out not to be. That's why I say if you're trying to hit the ball the other way, you wait a little bit longer, and you see that pitch better.
Nishioka takes outside, ball 1.
Those two swings, Danny's and Delman's, are the perfect example why that was such a great at-bat, a great two-strike swing by Danny.
There's a strike. Well, just looking at Pistano's numbers against right-handed batters, he's held them to a 128 batting average. So Valencia is adapting to how he was being pitched. Resulted in his getting a hit against a tough right-hander.
Absolutely right. That's exactly what happened. And you have to make that adjustment within the at-bat. And when you get to 2 strikes against a guy with this kind of stuff, again, you have to be willing to be jammed. You don't want to be. But you have to say, if he comes in there, I got to tip my hat. I hope I can fight it off. But I can't just swing wildly at anything on the outside because I want the ball in.
2-1, and a foul. 2-2, and Santana will try to limp that off. So the catcher's taking a beating. If they didn't have enough to deal with the heat and humidity, then you get this. Foul off the instep.
That really hurts.
Sometimes it becomes more serious than The other day here, Alex Gordon on Sunday fouled a ball off his foot. He hasn't played since for the Royals.
It can get really serious. I used to do that a lot to myself. And sometimes what happens, your natural reaction is you roll your ankle over and sprain your ankle just trying to get out of the way of the ball.
2-2 to Nishioka. Grounder toward the hole.
Trouble.
Base hit. Mauer scores. Hughes scores. And Nishioka drives in 2 with a single.
The biggest at bat of the year for that young man, Tsuyoshi Nishioka. What a good at bat again. Another one. Another tough at bat. Foul off a bunch of pitches. Stay the other way. Slap the ball to left field. Find a hole someplace. Nice hitting. Nice hitting.
And if Cabrera can't flag it down, it can't be flagged down. And then the Indians left third open for Valencia to go to third.
Well, that's a result of Cabrera diving for the ball, trying to save the extra run.
Butera swings through it.
Just couldn't get up off his belly in time to get over to third base. So it's alert base running.
So Valencia at third and Nishioka at first. as Pistano's given up a couple of big base hits to the Twins in the 8th. So this Cleveland bullpen that has been so good, the Twins found a way in the 9th inning last night to beat the closer, Chris Perez. And now here in the 8th inning against Tony Sipp and Vinny Pistano, 3 runs up on the board. 2-1.
Just an improbable turn of events all the way around. You figure the you're not going to lose a doubleheader. That doesn't happen very often. You're not going to beat the Indians bullpen very often. The Twins have a chance to come back against a very tough bullpen 2 games in a row.
Popped up, should end the inning. Laporta ends the inning, but the Twins get 4 hits, a walk, and 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th. Humid day for the series finale. Dick Bramer along with Grandpa Roy Smalley with the Twins in front by 3.
And the apple of my eye, my little granddaughter, our little granddaughter, Savannah Smalley. Happy 3rd birthday, sweetheart.
There you see the game reset with the Twins breaking out, scoring 3 in the bottom of the 8th. So that means it's a save situation, and these days that means it's time to bring Joe Nathan into the game.
And a different Joe Nathan it is. As I've watched Joe this second stint with the Twins after this year, after starting with them, going back on the disabled list, going down, getting himself worked out in AAA on a rehab assignment or coming back. His fastball has been livelier. He's throwing it for strikes where he wasn't doing that before. And he looks like the Joe Nathan of old. Let's hope that's the guy we see today.
Orlando Cabrera will lead things off in the 9th for Cleveland. First pitch in there for a strike.
That's the one I like right there. Go right at him with a fastball right away.
Jason Repko in left field as we begin the top of the 9th. 1-1. Orlando Cabrera's been around for a long time and a whole bunch of different teams, but he's 1 for 16, a single in 16 at bats against Joe Nathan. 1-1. 1-2. Cabrera not prone to striking out, but Nathan in those 16 at bats has fanned him 6 times. Two and 2.
The difference in Joe's stuff now and at the beginning of the year is the ball is coming out of his hand with so much more authority and flying through the zone better. It just didn't seem like he had the same pop. That fastball right there, he did not have in the first part of the season. And it's understandable after Tommy John surgery. I think it takes a whole year. You're out a year, and then you pitch a year, and then the next year you come back. And as far as I'm concerned, Joe's way ahead of schedule.
And if he is, it's because he's worked his tail off.
Yes, he has. And he's a pretty amazing specimen as well.
Fouled back to the screen. So Cabrera hanging tough, leading off the 9th inning. It'll be Cabrera, Chisenhall, and Austin Kearns, the 6, 7, and 8 batters for Cleveland. And really not much of a bench to speak of. That's been one of the issues for Manny Acta here the last couple ball games. Not sure what that was we just saw. 2-2. Bouncer to short. Nishioka to Mauer with a big stretch at the end. Sometimes it helps to have a 6'5" first baseman.
You know, I got to tell you, that's a phenomenal play by Nishioka.
Joe Nathan, and certainly giving impressions of the way he was before his surgery.
Yeah, you know, when he gets that fastball over, he impresses guys with his fastball, and his slider is really biting. That gets him. It's kind of a right-handed version of Liriano, and he's been really, really good. I have to tell you, I have to go back to that play that Nishi just made. Holy cow, sometimes a shortstop makes plays that don't look like much that are really hard.
Down and away, ball 1 to Chisenhall. Chisenhall, a single and a pair of strikeouts today. 2-0.
Watch this. This is an in-between hop. He's got to get to the ball. Now the ball comes up. He has to back up and make a quick throw to get that much on the throw and throw it accurately from his back foot like that. That was a terrific play.
High fly to deep right field. And that one's not going to come back. Into the upper deck. A solo home run for Lonnie Chisenhall, his second in the big leagues. So, what do we say? Doesn't make any difference whether your name is Matt Capps or Mariano Rivera. You fall behind hitters and groove one, and it can. The results aren't very good.
A little bit of a glimpse of what the Indians think Chisenhall is going to be able to do for them. Good-looking left-handed hitter here with some pop. But just as you say, Dick, when you fall behind and throw a ball that, well, it's down, but left-handed hitters, that's it. I used to love that pitch right there. You throw that pitch to Randy Bush, he'd hit that ball in the seat as well. That swing actually looked a lot like Bush's.
Let's talk to Randy today. He called me from Chicago. One strike. He's doing fine. He wanted me to pass along his best wishes to Bert, of course. 1-1 to Kearns. Dropped down a sacrifice in the 7th. Going back to that inning, Cabrera and Chisenhall had started the inning with singles, and Kearns moved them along, 2nd and 3rd, but then Maharis came in to get the 2 left-handed batters. Oh, snap.
Yeah.
You're talking about the ball and how it looks coming out of his hand. There's an audible difference, it seems, than what there was in April and May.
Yeah, there is, and you can tell in the catcher's glove as well. But you see it coming out of his hand, but you notice it as it comes through the zone. There's just a little extra giddy up coming through the strike zone than there was early in the year.
95 high and tight, 2-2.
I don't know how the guns work. I don't know how to explain this other than baseball guys know what this means. But there's a difference between 93 when it's still going 93 through the batter's box and just 93.
Nishioka gets the second hop. 2 down. Nishioka's 2-run single, the difference in the game right now. But the guy who put the Twins in front in the 8th is the guy who finished the game last night.
Yeah, Nishioka doesn't get the hit and driving the other 2. If Danny doesn't have Valencia have a great at bat with a 2-strike base hit the other way. Great at bat. Gotta love what Joe Mauer did today with 2 big hits, important hits. Nishi played a good ball game. None of it matters if Danny doesn't come back and adjust his batting style and get that base hit to right field off a tough Castello.
Here's Valbuena, and there's strike 1. Valbuena 0 for 3, and again was in the middle of the late inning scoring for the Twins. It's hit to right, hanging in the air. Kadire catches it, and the Twins get their split with the Indians and are back to 5 games behind Cleveland in the divisional standings.
Well, you know, I think that both teams are relatively happy. Cleveland would be happy to come in here and hold serve with a split, being 5 games up. The Twins are delighted after losing a doubleheader to come back and have a split.
As we said, Robbie, with the Twins losing the doubleheader, an important 20 hours, and they won both games last night and today.
A big comeback by the Twins, Dick, in these last 2 games. 7-5, the final score. The Twins win it. We've got a lot coming your way. Danny Valencia does it again. Man is on fire. 10 for 18 with the bases loaded. All that and more next on Twins Live.